So Narottam Das Thakur's mercy, many people in that area started becoming devotees. And by his songs and bhajans, everybody were becoming inspired by the true philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teachings. So everybody were becoming very much ardent followers of Narottam Das Thakura. But there are many people who are the smarta brahmanas, they started becoming envious of Narottam Das Thakura. They started differentiating him not on the spiritual basis but on material bodily qualification. They started seeing his birth qualification. They say he is from a Shudra background. Or how he can be so glorious and so special. What is, they started envying on his basic birthright and bodily designations. So they were becoming jealous and they were started criticizing Narottam Das Thakura's nature and his activities. So there was one such Brahmana who severely criticized Narottam Das Thakura in front of his students. He was citing Narottama was a mere Shudra who was incapable of delivering anyone. And because of his consequences, this Brahmana was afflicted with leprosy very soon. So he was not able to tolerate any pain any longer. He wanted to commit suicide by jumping into Ganga. But that very night he had a dream in which the personification of Ganga came to him and taught him, what a mistake you have done, why you are suffering in this material world. Because you have offended the greatest of the Vaishnavas. Because of your envious attitude and jealousy attitude, you are suffering this leprosy. Unless you go and take shelter at the lotus feet of the devotee whom you have offended, there is no nishkruti for you. Even if you jump and die in me, you have to repeat this punishment life after life. You cannot be freed from this attitude of Vaishnava Aparadha. So go tomorrow morning itself and take shelter of Narottam Das Thakura, then you can be relieved from this pain and anxiety. So next day morning, because of his good sense, he accepted that instruction. Early in the morning, he went to the house of Narottam Das Thakura, fell down at his feet and begged forgiveness. And when Narottam Das Thakura blessed him, then very soon he became free from his leprosy and became a normal man. And he became one of the followers and ardent practitioners of Krishna. Similarly, there were one more circumstance were there. So one day, Narottam Das Thakura and his friend Ramachandra Kaviraja were traveling on the way. They saw two Brahmana sons purchased some animals for the slaughtering or offering as a sacrifice to Devi. So they were taking some goat and some buffaloes and all. So Ramachandra and Narottam Das Thakura were thinking, what a unfortunate situation. They had taken birth in the Brahmana family but carried away by Vedic rituals. And they are wasting their life by worshipping demigods, for aspiring for material hankerings and all to fulfill their material desires. So they started talking in a loud way, quoting from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. What is glorious worship of the Supreme Lord? What is problem in worshipping Devatas? And they started explaining the temporary nature of this Devata worship and how if there is a small mistake in the worship of the Devatas, how they will punish us. By explaining all these technical details, the boys who were listening slowly became addicted to the perspective that they became very much detached from this point of getting into worshipping into demigods. They finally came and surrendered at the lotus feet of Narottam Das Thakura and they said, please bless us, so that we have done so many mistakes till now. We have been blindly following our father in worshipping Devi. Now please give us direction. We wanted how to become free from these sinful tendencies, how to become liberated from this material world, from these obligations of karma. So Narottam Das Thakura became very much satisfied by their humble behavior. They took them to their ashrama. And in next few hours, he explained in conclusion the essence of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. So by understanding that philosophy, they became so enamored that when they were asked to go home and come back next day, they said, no, we don't want to go home. We want to hear more and more. So for 10 days continuously they were hearing. They became so much determined, so much fixed up in Krishna consciousness. At the 10th day, they begged forgiveness and they asked them to be initiated. So Hari Rama was initiated by Ramachandra Kaviraja and his brother Ramakrishna was initiated by Narottam Das Thakur. So when this message was passed on to their father, that people passed on that message that your sons took initiation from Narottam Das Thakur, his father became very furious. He immediately sent a message, come back home. Narottam Das Thakur also said, okay, please go, handle the situation. So they took blessings from Narottam Das Thakur, went home. As soon as they went home, they paid obeisances to their father. And the father was in a very controlling his emotions. He asked, what happened? Where were you for these 10 days? We were very anxiety whether we will come back or not. me and your mother were full of anxiety. Then they started narrating the entire issue, what had happened. Then father asked, where are the animals I had sent you to purchase for the sacrifice? They said, we have left them there. Then father was trying to control his emotions, he's trying to put them down. Then the son started speaking about Vaishnava philosophy. Father was becoming more and more bubbling inside. So finally he said, to convince you, I'll do one thing. He went to the nearby village and he got one famous scholar there to refute Vaishnava Siddhanta. So they are trying to say Brahmana is better than a Vaishnava. Birthright Brahmana is better than a Vaishnava. Then that all the scholars came of that village and the assembly meeting has been done. And the elderly person, he started quoting all Vedic references, how birth of a Brahmana is very great and all these things and all. The two boys were simply listening. At the end, when they are done with all their arguments, the two boys prayed to remembering the lotus feet of Narottam Das Thakur and Ramachandra Kaviraja, they started speaking. Every word, whatever the Brahmana spoke, were undone. It's like they counteracted with scriptural references, how a Vaishnava's position is much better than being a mere Brahmana. At the end of the discussion, that person who was debating, that Brahmana, who was that senior Brahmana, he became so much convinced of the Vaishnava philosophy. He got up and he thanked that boys that his life has become successful, and he went away. The father was becoming even more emotional. My sons have dominated this person also. Then he went to Mithila and bought one scholar from there by name Murari Das. So when the scholar was brought, so the challenge was arranged between the two sons and Murari. Murari was also soundly defeated and his false ego was shattered. So when it was all over, he fled from the arena being embarrassed of losing his position as the greatest scholar, because he was a Digvijayi. He used to go and conquer everywhere. But his position was lost. At that night, Shivananda, the father of the two sons, had a dream in which Mother Durga appeared to him and revealed that Vishnu is her master and deliverer of one and all. So one has no respect for Hari, he is a demon. And she added, anyone who worships her but disregards Vishnu, I will destroy him completely. So if you want to be saved, please go take shelter of Narottam Das Thakur, accept Krishna Bhakti and engage in his devotional service. So in that way, he realized his mistake. Immediately he, with the two sons, went to Narottam Das Thakur, paid obeisances and got into Vaishnava philosophy and made their life successful. See how the compassionate acharyas, when we are struggling in this material world, when they became fearful of the consequences of the activities of Karmakandya system, by the association and by the instructions and by the knowledge, how that fear can be sent away from us and how we can become fearless in this material world, they were able to, mere boys of 10 days experience, they were able to conquer the greatest scholars. So this is the blessings of acharyas.